Happy Halloween, everyone. Welcome to 60 Underrated, and we're going to talk about the 2007 film, HellBoy Blood and Iron. HellBoy Blood and Iron was the second film in what was planned to be a trilogy of animated films featuring the Red Ape. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. We only got two of the films, and they're pretty damn good. The first film, Hellboy Sword of Storms, had Hellboy travel to Japan to deal with ancient threats and, creatures of Shinto mythology. While this film, Blood and Iron, has him deal with more European threats. The third film, which was never titled, was going to have Hellboy deal with Native American mythology. This would have been really cool to see, of Hellboy dealing with these different mythologies in different ways, and I wonder if there was plan to do more of these besides the original Plan 3, but, we'll never know. But what we got here was awesome. Now, the film actually has two stories. The first being a flashback told in reverse about the adventures of Professor Broom, Hellboy's father, who traveled to Transylvania in 1939 to deal with a vampire known as Countess Erzsébet Androszko. I feel like I might have butchered her name, but whatever. She's already come a butcher herself. And, this does not go well. A lot of his compatriots are killed, except for a priest, but Erzsébet herself was killed. Fast forward to the present day, and the BPRD are told to deal with this entrepreneur in Long Island who wants to prove that his house is haunted. Now, usually Hellboy, along with his partners Abe Sapien, Liz, and newcomer Sidney Leach, aka the Human Metal Detector, yes, seriously, would, just call this a bunch of crap and just leave it be. But this guy has connection to a senator who provides funding for the BPRD, so they kind of got no choice. Things start out pretty normal, like most stories about haunted houses do, until Broom discovers that the entrepreneur has actually acquired Erzsébet's possessions, paintings, wardrobe, torture devices she used on her victims. Yeah, a lot of her stuff. Apparently, the house was planned to be a tourist trap, and the Countess would be the main event, so to speak, since she was not just a vampire, but also a high priestess who worshipped a god named Hecate, the goddess of witches. So, that's kind of a big deal there. And, when they hear about this, they realize that this is not a good sign. Along with several ghost sightings, with some of them appearing to be from the 1930s, and a strange symbol, Broom believes that this is some kind of ritual to bring back the vampire, and it's up to Hellboy and the gang to stop whoever and whatever is doing this. This film is perfect for Halloween. Besides the vampire and the ghost, we got demons, dark gods, and my favorite monster, werewolves. The two stories are done very well. Great pacing, never feeling like one is dragging out or rushing the other. The characters are awesome. The actors like Ron Perlman and John Hurt from the first live-action films actually reprised their roles for this to play Hellboy and Professor Broom, along with the actors who played Liz and Abe. Though I will say that if you were hoping that this is canon with the live-action films, it's not. It's more of its own continuity and actually tries to base itself closer to the comics, with some of the characters acting a little bit more like their comic book counterparts. One thing I definitely do love about this film when it comes to the characters also is that we get to spend more time with Professor Broom and Hellboy as father and son. Granted, there aren't too much of these scenes, but when they are done very well. You do buy that these guys have, have this strong bond together. And there's actually this really nice moment where Broom actually looks back about how Hellboy has grown so fast. It's just a really good moment. And speaking of Broom, he frickin' shines in this film. I gotta give kudos to James Arnold Taylor, who actually voices the younger Broom in the flashbacks. Because, yeah, this really shows how clever he really is, because of how he takes down Elizabeth in both the flashback and in this film are just done so well. Speaking of Elizabeth, she is a really creepy villain. I mean, just terrifying in some parts. And it kind of helps that she's actually inspired by a real life person, the Blood Countess Elizabeth Bathory, who actually tortured several women and apparently bathed in their blood, believing that it would make her young, it would keep her young. Yeah, that's a real thing in history, kids. There are other villains in here too, but I don't want to spoil too much about what, their deals are, but I'll just say that they are, very entertaining villains, and it really is a shame that the movie series never continued, since it did feel like some of them were planned to show up in other films. Now, as for the side characters, they're pretty good. The entrepreneur character is, kind of just the borderline jackass of the story. He doesn't really understand what he's gotten himself into. And, what happens to him is not much of a shocker, I'll just say that. As for, the characters in the flashback, we don't get to spend too much time with them, except for the priest, Lubitska. Pretty sure I might have butchered the guy's name, but you know what? Whatever. I'm butchering a lot of names lately. His story is heartbreaking, and knowing where it went, it's, let's just say there is a silver lining to it, but not the one that some of you might have hoped for. And other characters, well, unfortunately, some are there just to be cannon fodder, but, the ones that we do get to spend time with, again, are pretty nice. And as for Mr. Leach, the human metal detector, he's pretty good. He gets some good lines. At first, I feel like he was meant to be kind of the character that we're supposed to just, associate with, like, our point of view character, but as the story progressed, he kind of became more of a side character and just stuck around in the background a little bit more, but he's still pretty good. As for the animation is gorgeous, man. Seriously, they did a great job of capturing the style of Mike Mignola. HellBoy Blood and Iron is definitely a film to check out in October. And just great to check out if you're a Hellboy fan. If you want to get more into the character, this is a good start there. I know, it's kind of weird for me to say that for, a sequel for a movie, but yeah, it works. And who knows, maybe we'll see more Hellboy in animated form. Hopefully, better than the last reboot they did, but whatever. Happy Halloween, everyone, and see ya.